here for your 12th week of 2019, which is March the 19th through the 23rd. Or excuse me, March 17th to the 23rd. With your soul messages and a few predictions or two, and trying to help us all understand what's going on in the world and what's going on in our lives. I want to first of all reach out to our friends in New Zealand and just say, we're holding you. We're holding you. You know, it's been a tough week for many around the world. So many are leaving, and we are saying goodbye to old friends, humans and pets, and it's tough. Not my pets, but I'm saying goodbye to some friends. Daisy's fine, and the kitties are fine. So I want to put that out there up front. But I do want to explain what's going on in our world, and then and help you be able, give you ways to deal with it. One of those will be a process from one of my books, Joy, which is 52 ways of finding joy and staying in joy. And then, of course, we'll get a message from Philip, who is my spirit guide. And this is an oracle book with just each page has a different wisdom on it. But first, I want to explain, excuse me, what's going on in our world, because what I want you to know, we're really getting into some tougher times. And it's like, how can they get any tougher than they've already been? This week, we're going to see a lot more turmoil. And it's just going to increase for the next several months. Let me explain what's happening. Everything is energy. And energy is made up of feminine energy and masculine energy. And we are both. And we are always working in our own lives to find the balance between the masculine energy and the feminine energy. Do women tend to hold more feminine energy than the male population? Generally speaking, but a broad generalization, because again, we're trying to, it's not about male and female, it's about the energy itself. The feminine energies are more ingoing, they're the compassion, they're the caring, they're the nurturing, the caretakers. The masculine energies are more of going out into the world. And of course, taken, to the extremes, too much emotion, getting caught in it, we have too much drama in our life. And if we go out too harshly without enough feminine energy, we see the horrible results of that without the caring. The ancient ones told us that we are in a time right now, that the feminine is rising. Now, that started several years ago. I mean, this isn't just happening now. I want to say back in the late 60s, early 70s, we saw the feminine energy rising. And if my age, I'm 73, as I've told you, and at my age, I was part of that movement of the feminine rising. And being part of that movement, I have seen major steps forward. You know, when I was a girl, our choices were we were allowed to be teachers or nurses. And the women who broke out of that mold to be journalists, to be doctors, to run a business, they were the unusual. Most of us also were taught to get married and have kids. I missed that one. I got married, but I missed the children because I have a world of children, and not just, I have a world of children's hearts to take care of, I feel. And anyway, but the ancient ones told us that the feminine energy would rise. Now, they also told us that this was a time that all the secrets would come out. So I've been looking at all of this, or thinking about all of this a lot lately, and what I came to the conclusion is, in the 70s, and what we call the 60s, in the 60s, there was a huge opening of spiritual knowledge It's like the Western and the Eastern started learning about each other, and the West started opening up to Eastern philosophies. Well, mystery schools and schools of esoteric knowledge have been around forever, uh, since humankind was around. But only a select few of students were chosen to study in those esoteric mystery schools. Now, and since really in the 60s is when it started opening, for that energy started opening, that whomever had the interest could get the knowledge. Alan Watts back in the 50s even opened it up a lot. So the knowledge has been there, and it's been opening up more and more. So put that together, because when I always heard the ancient ones in my studies, that the ancient ones said this is the time when all the secrets come out, I thought, okay, this is great. This is the time when we learn all those esoteric secrets. And yes, we have, and we are, and it's not over. It's going to continue. But what's happening is a group of us, a large group, many of us had to already study these esoteric teachings in order that we could better understand and cope with life. Because what is happening now, we have to be able to hold the energy of love and that energy of the light of the knowledge, because the knowledge, the secrets that are coming out now are very human secrets and very destructive secrets. We are building, those of us who are listening, those of you who are listening, those of us who are talking and teaching and learning, we are building a new world of love, of that great feminine energy, of the caretaker, of compassion, of kindness. That's the feminine energy. But we're seeing also over here this strong, masculine, outgoing punch energy trying to keep that feminine energy down. Why? Fear. Fear. And unfortunately, it's not just the white supremacy, but the white supremacy movement worldwide has a big responsibility in this, in forcing that, trying to keep that feminine energy from rising. And it's out of fear. It's out of fear of, oh my gosh, people of same blood types but different color skin can mate now. Ah! You know, why? Why? I don't understand it myself. But I have seen in my lifetime, and I am certainly seeing it now, witnessing it in the U.S. here where I live, but also in other countries. And we just saw that, unfortunately, in New Zealand, where there is this suppression of the feminine energy. There is this fear that is rising from that misguided masculine energy that says, I want to be on top. Stop it. We can sit around all day and tell them to stop it. They're not going to. So what is going to stop it? We are. How are we going to stop it? By letting and nurturing that feminine energy, helping it rise above the masculine that's trying to keep it down, helping it to find balance with the outgoing masculine energy, the positive forces of life. We have this opportunity. Is this easy? No, but we must do it. We must be a force of light. You know, I believe that what is happening is that we're actually creating like two worlds within the same planet. And so there will be this earth of hatred. There will be this earth of guns and shootings and mass murders and drama. But there will also be this planet Earth of love, of compassion, of caring. And the world I live in, my personal world, is compassion, caring, and I see it in my world every day. I see it in when the child opens the door for this old lady and lets me walk in front of him, and the father stands there proud, and he should, because he's teaching his son politeness. I see it in the person ahead of me who pays for the person behind them as they go through the drive-thru. I see it in the simple smile that we give to one another. I see it on my social media. If I post something that says my heart hurts, I know there are those who hold my heart to let it heal so I can help heal other hearts. My friends, we do live in a beautiful, loving, kind world. I see it when I said goodbye this week to a dear friend in hospice, and the love of her children that they had for her. I see this feminine energy in the love that surrounds old high school friends as we surround the mother, the wife of who also is a high school friend, as we say goodbye to her beloved husband. I used to double date with this couple. They've been together since high school, and she has to say goodbye to him. And I see it in the love of all of these other friends that come together. I see the love and the joy in the moments of our lives. And every time I see joy as opposed to anger, I'm adding joy to the world instead of adding that anger, masculine anger. I'm adding the feminine love. We need the balance. I use that masculine energy to speak out, but couple it with the feminine energy of love and compassion. Balance, my friends, and we are always balancing. One of the ways we receive joy is simply to learn how to receive. We don't know how to do that, many of us. We were taught too often by our mothers that, oh, you shouldn't have. Well, the giver is giving me a gift and I'm saying, no, you shouldn't have. How does that make the giver feel? Doesn't make me feel very good if somebody looks at me and says, oh, you shouldn't have, when I'm giving you a gift. Let's learn to receive graciously. How do we do that? Well, we may simply just look in the person's eyes and say, thank you. Thank you. That's all it takes. We don't have to even make a big to-do about it. We may not even have to say the words because the person can read our eyes, knowing our heart is saying, thank you. Let's see what Philip has for us this week, shall we? We just opened any page. Are you thinking left or right? I'm thinking right, but I always read both pages for you. But here's the message. Does not each artist paint a different picture, even when many look at the same landscape? Does not each artist paint a different picture, even when many look at the same landscape? You know, there's an old tale, and I love this tale. I believe it's a Hindu tale. And it's about several blind men around an elephant. And each one sees a different piece of the elephant. One sees the trunk, one sees the leg, one sees the tail, one sees the body. And they're all having a totally different experience. And when I say sees, I should say feels, because they're blind and can't see the whole elephant. But they're each having a totally different experience. and they each say this is what this is, and they say what this is and what this is. We all have a totally different experience. So does not each artist paint a different picture, even when many look at the same landscape? We can look at ugliness and experience it as ugly. We can look at it and experience it as something that we'd like to see change with love. You know, yesterday I was tired driving home, and we had been through some horrendous storms, and the roads were filled with water. I mean, water was not deeply running across the roads, but there were certainly puddles, plenty of puddles on the road. And this pickup truck, big, one of the extra big ones, decided he wanted to be in front of me instead of behind me. He passed me. But he got right, I guess he thought I was going too slow. I was only going the speed limit because of the weather, and sometimes I do speed, but I wasn't. But he wanted to go faster, so he got in front of me. And I had to slam on my brakes because he literally was pushing me out, going to push me off the road, and I would have hit him. And the water that came up and sprayed all over the windshield to the point where I could not see, and fortunately there was no one behind me. I wasn't hurt. I said some not very nice things. I yelled at him. He couldn't hear me. Who was I yelling at? But as soon as I yelled at what I called him a jerk and a few other names, and as soon as I yelled at him, I had to start laughing because I said, Diana, you're stressed. Let it go. You're not hurt. Did he do dangerous things? Yes. You're getting a gift here. Because I was thinking about what did I want to tell everyone today on our video. That particular driver is a perfect example of the masculine energy misused. On the right, it says, you must leave the known and travel through the unknown to return to the known. You must leave the known and travel through the unknown to return to the known. My friends, we are in unknown territory, and many of us feel like we're walking in the dense fog, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. Kindness, let's help that feminine energy of caring, compassion, love. Let's lift it up in our lives, balancing with the masculine of stepping out and making our lives better. That'll make the world better. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for caring about us. You hold us. And us, I mean Daisy, and the family here. You hold me. You hold us so I can hold others. And I am deeply, deeply grateful. I love you. Thank you for receiving that love.